Am I live or am I Memorex? That joke never gets old. Actually, it was old before I started using it, but I work with what I got. Hello, folks. Thrash Pondo here. And yes, we are doing a Sunday night live chat. Although I use the term we loosely at the moment, it is just me. So, me do a live chat, but hopefully someone will show up very, very, very soon. And I'm just going to there. There. That's better. This way, we got our little friend here, Walter White, on the bottom with his cell phone. And look who's here, Tug. He's like, yo, Tug. Long time no see. Oh, speaking of Breaking Bad, yo, Mr. White. Tracy's here. Says hi, guys. Tracy, Bubba. How's your husband bearing up? I hope he's doing well. By the way, Rachel in the 208 is here. Hi, Rachel. Good to see you. And I'm caught up because at the moment it's just really the three of you. But hopefully there will be more to follow. Sorry, involuntary throat issuette. There's a pollen count or something, and I'm kind of raspy. I am a rapscallion. And Rachel was here. She says, I was first. Yes, of course you were, Rachel. No worries. No worries. And Tracy says, thank you. And then she said, nope, Tracy was first. It's not a contest, or at least there's no prizes. So you're all number one in my book. Hopefully, we'll have a few more likes because by my calculations, there should be at least tree. A lemon tree. A lemon tree is very pretty, and the lemon flower is. Rachel says, I was just teasing, lol. And I'm playing along as best I can. Tug says, I'm in your book. Yes, you are. You are. You were in my book. Yes, the Book of Thrash. Entry says 208. You are all good in my book. Yes, you are all good. You are all good in my book. Who wrote the book of love? This is all I can think of on such short notice. No real topic tonight, folks. Just miscellaneous Michigots. Hey, it worked great for Tug and the rest of us this afternoon. We babbled incessantly for a solid hour and a half. In the immortal words of Tom Baker, I'm much more effective when I don't know what I'm doing. And so I will open the gates. I have for those of you who weren't on Tug Show earlier, I have two potential trivia games for tonight. One's on the Dukes of Hazzard, and one I did for the loss of Julian McMahon and Michael Madsen. I gotta tell you though, the Michael Madsen, Julian McMahon, those are kind of tough. I had to really dig to get some good trivia questions, and some of them I didn't even know. So if you guys want me to do those in the spirit of the loss, more than happy to. But if you guys want to do Dukes of Hazzard, that might be a bit more fun. But I'm gonna let you guys vote. So if you have a dog in the fight, please make your suggestion. And look who's here! Oh my God, Sister Sarah's so great. Sister Sarah says, emojis, be sure to like and share and recommend and do all those nice things I'm always asking you to do. Sister Sarah, so great to see you. Sarah, smile. Won't you smile a while with me, Sarah? There's another song by Sarah, but I can't place it. But I think one might do, at least as far as my singing voice goes. And I'm still caught up. But I'll wait to see if somebody else shows up. How's this sound? I mean, I'm getting this weird issue reader thing on the bottom about the microphone. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Oh my God, Gary's here. Gary, so good to see you again today. And he says, hi there, chaps. I'm here. You mean you're back? And Doug says, I'll probably regret it because I don't know the topic as well, but I also vote Dukes of Hazzard. Okay, so we got 2 votes for the Duke. Duke of Hazzard. Duke of. We'll stop that. And Tracy says, "I hear you." Yes, as do I. I hear you as well. By the way, that is so cool. Your husband plays strategy games. I love strategy games. It probably has something to do with my unhealthy obsession with the Second World War and World War One too. World War One too it was a nice war as well. And it's a splendid little war. I don't know what my favorite war would be. A 30 Years' War, maybe? I don't know. Although I can never remember how long it lasted. Gary says, T, did you hear Jaws was seen in Cape Cod Bay by two girls on paddleboards? They're always spotting really, 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 really big sharks off the coast of Cape Cod. Had an attack a few years ago. Unfortunately, a guy was in an area known for shark attacks and unfortunately was attacked. It was very, very sad. But we get surprisingly few, but there's a lot of sharks out there and they are big. And what happened, they say if you see a seal, get out of the water because where there are seals, there are things which eat seals. And the primary thing which eats seals is really big sharks. And sometimes the really big shark mistakes you for a seal. And seals can bite you too. And while that may not be fatal, I guess seals' mouths are filthy because they eat crustaceans. And there's something called seal fever or something. And you get this like really, really, really nasty infection. And so I don't want to be bitten by a seal either. They have very strong jaws too because they have to be able to oyster shells and such. But yeah, they saw it turned out to be just a basking shark, but they saw like a 30-foot shark. Not longer. 30. I am not exact. 30 friggin' feet. That's big. Big. And he says, my husband was an obsession with World War II as well. He's a history teacher, so living with him is fun. I thought about becoming a history teacher actually, but there's, as I'm sure you know, there's so much politics and ugh, in the school system. It just didn't seem fun, you know. And Tug says that was a neat Tracy fact we didn't know before. Yeah, no, I didn't know he was a history teacher, but that is awesome. You have to have him on one of the shows. We'll like do World War II trivia or something. I would love to talk World War II if he would be so inclined when he's feeling up to it. And Gary says, Tracy, I'm a fan of World War II and the Civil War. I'm not as good at the Civil War as a lot of Civil War buffs. I do know a fair amount about the Civil War. We were just watching something the other day. The Unexplained. They were talking about the Civil War, the Last Chance Gold. The subplot to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, where the South had that precious metal drive towards the end, and the plan was to smuggle the gold out and buy a cache of weapons and create an army of the best of their best of their best of their best and make one final push to bring the North to terms. And all the gold and other valuables mysteriously disappeared because the war ended before the loot could be smuggled to Europe. And a couple people got very, very, very rich mysteriously right after the war. So might have had something to do with it, huh, gang? But yeah, that's a little anecdotal story about the war. And Tracy says Nito to Gary. And Tracy says, I'm sorry, Sarah says facts pawns. And Tug says, I once saw Max von Sydow on the beach. Does that count? He was in the seventh. The seventh seal. The seventh seal. I love that movie, by the way. I loved when they made fun of it in Bill and Ted's 2. Nate, you've sank my battleship. Oh, Sarah, thank you for the links. Yes, please give links to yourself, to Tug, to Tracy, and anyone else who stumbles along, if you would be so inclined. And Tug, yes, I think Max von Sydow would be the official seal. When I was a kid, we had to, as a school project, I was like fourth, fifth grade, we had to come up with our own little kingdom for like civics class or something, and we had to come up with our own flag and our own state motto, and we had to have an official seal. And my official seal, you know where this is going, had a seal on it. Got a big laugh at that one. And Tug says, nah, you're epic as flock, Sarah. And Teresa says, he would like that. Awesome. Awesome. Keep me posted. You want to find old Bob. And Sarah says, thank you to Geek. And Tracy says, thanks to Sarah. And we're just one big happy family. Isn't that great? Oh, Mr. Tony the Dead is here. Oh my God, Mr. Tony the Dead. So good to see you. Sarah, please drop a link for Mr. Tony of the Dead. We've got to do another entertainment headquarters very, 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 very soon. I know the trip to San Diego had Kevin preoccupied, but we've got to do another show very soon. Looking forward to it. Oh my God, John Doe is here. John Doe, he says, let the battle begin. At my signal, unleash hell. Oh, and by the way, that joke you sent me, I remember a version of that joke from like one of the Truly Tasteless joke books back in the early 80s. But you know, it was priceless. It was classic. Thanks for that one. A lot of people saying hi to John. A lot of people saying hello to one another. This is the period of fellowship. I tend not to read these because it's just like, and this says a little of that, and that says a little of this. So I'll let you guys have fellowship, and I'll come in when there's like for example, Rachel says I had that joke book. There was like 4 of them. I only have one left. But there were like 4 at one point. Yeah, exactly. You got to turn it around. Yes, I remember that joke. But the way the way they did it as a theatrical thing, I thought was great. And thank you. And Gary says to Tracy, finally found Glenn Miller and Amelia Earhart. Not the same place. That'd be a cute trick. I still say Amelia was captured by the Imperial Navy. They were doing covert, not espionage, but they were doing like air reconnaissance. And they were catching some of the Japanese facilities in the South Pacific. And the Imperial Navy went, yeah. So I'm sure they were shot down and captured, if not killed. They did an old In Search of, not the one with new Spock, the one with original Spock. And there was this geriatric back in the 70s. So, well, but they kept asking her if she was Amelia Earhart. She kept swearing up and down she wasn't, but I would have said yes. What the heck? Yes, I am Amelia Earhart. As far as Glenn Miller goes, what wasn't Glenn Miller? Didn't he get iced because Churchill was flying across the channel and they were trying to throw smoke on Churchill's plane? So he said, no. There was counterintelligence with it. It's this plane, and on the quote unquote this plane, it had Glenn Miller and the guy who played Ashley Wilkes. The guy who played Ashley Wilkes, if I remember correctly. Rachel, you're a World War II buff. You might know the answer to that, but yeah, let's go with that. Oh, look, Chance is here, everybody. Chance Bartel is here from the Nostalgia Pod Blasters. Hey, Thrash, Pondo, and chat. So good to see you, my brother. Welcome. And Sarah, please give Chance a link. And Chance says, who else here saw Superman 2025? Haven't seen it yet, but Mrs. Thrash wants to see it. So I bet I'm going to make it at some point really soon. Indy Spouts is here, says, I'm here. Fun's over. And thank you, Leslie Howard. So funny. Man with a lady's name played a character in Gone with the Wind who was a man with a lady's name, although Ashley used to be a boy's name. My kid brother's middle name is Ashley, actually. Oh, and by the way, the French term you were saying earlier, Indy, would have actually been mon grand-mère mange le devant. If I said that properly. Anyone who speaks French, please confirm or deny. Actually, you don't prove it? Tell me what I just said, and I will repeat it. Mon grand-mère mange le devant. And No, he did that. I should stop laughing because that's actually a very sad story. And oh my God, I think my mouse is dying because it's going whack job. I'm trying to keep up with the scroll, but yeah, Leslie Howard and John Doe says there was a show called Misfits of Science, and they had an episode about Amelia. No kidding. I remember the show. I don't remember the episode. And I'm gonna scroll. I'm probably not gonna be able to scroll up and down much, so if I miss a comment, I apologize. But like I said, the mouse, I think I need to replace the bat riz. And a lot of people saying hello to one another. Tug love Mistress of Science. Gary says, Pod Blast, I have it on my phone, but I haven't seen it yet. Oh, well played. And Gary says, no, so did I. And a lot of people saying hello to Mr. Spoats. And Shan says, that sounds good. Thrash Pondo with that French accent. Oh, merci, monsieur. Pardon, mi français is. But it's better than my Cantonese. Here, I'll try it. Ni hao ma lo ba. Len loi kung pao hangai. Which is pretty much all the Cantonese I recall. And and John Doe says, is that my biscuits are burning in French? Close. And Rachel says Courtney Cox was on that show. That's right, she was. And on Family Ties. And Gary says Bubala. Yeah, Bubala. Tracy's our Bubala. And Shan says, you sound like Jar Jar Binks. And you sound like a bucket of. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Thank you, by the way. Thank you. And Gary Carpenter says, I only know French from Morticia Adams. Oh, that's right. That's right. Gomez had a French fetish. She was hot too. She really was. I remember thinking that as a kid. You know, Lily Munster wasn't bad looking either. In fact, wasn't she a Miss America at one point? That just leapt into my head, but I'm not 100%. That yeah. Anyway, Indy, you can confirm or deny. Thank you, Lee Merriweather. Yeah, Lee Merriweather. Lee Merriweather. And Morticia Adams was Carolyn. Carolyn me back to old Mississippi. And Chan says Angelica Houston was good too as Morticia. She was amazing. She really was amazing. And I thought Raul Julia did a good job as Gomez, but he played him totally straight. And Gomes, even in the show, was that he didn't play it totally straight. He was that John Austin with a almost like a Charles Nelson Riley emphasis. And Chan says Carolyn Jones. Carolyn Jones. All I could think of was Carolyn Monroe, and that was the young lady from the Sinbad movies and the Star Wars ripoffs and all those Amicus period pieces. And she was great, though. She was great. It was a Journey to the Earth's Core. And but Carolyn Jones, yes, thank you, Indy, Carolyn Jones, and Chance, thank you, Carolyn Jones. And John Doe says she was also the Queen of Diamonds in Batman. Yes, she certainly was. She certainly was. And Gary says only Lee Merriweather was. Oh, she was Miss America. I thought Lee Merriweather was a Miss America. I thought she was. She actually did an interview where she said she was so booked with public appearances, there were days where they didn't schedule time for her to go to the bathroom. What she did, I'm afraid to ask. Oh, look, there's Mrs. Thresh foraging for food. Hi, Mrs. Thresh. Good luck with the forage. And she found a tin of cookies. A good find. And where was I? Queen of Diamonds and Lee Merriweather, Miss America. Thank you. And Tug says Life Force. Oh, Matilda May. Matilda very well may. You see what I did there? Yeah, that's one of my favorites about space vampires. I'll come in again. Which I thought was very heavily influenced by the Quatermass movies. I have had battles on that matter, but I always thought Life Force was an attempt to do a modern Quatermass. And then he says, Carolyn Jones will always be Joan of Arc to me. That's a fun reference for anyone who gets it. Give me a second. The pieces are all there. Oh my God, classic video games is here. Dave Series says, rest in peace, Carolyn Jones. Yes. For years, I thought she was actually buried in Centerville, Massachusetts, which is right next to Hyannisport. And apparently she's not buried in Centerville. But I believe she did have a place there at some point before she passed on. And John Doe says she was also in the House of Wax's Vincent Price. Emily's here says hi all with her purple heart. Hi to you as well, by the way. And Tracy says Lee was beautiful. She certainly was. You know, she went back into acting. Her husband worked in the railroad industry and lost a leg in an accident, almost died. And unfortunately, they decided to not particularly pay out because they didn't want to admit any wrongdoing. And so she had to go back into acting to put food on the table. It's actually kind of a sad story, but she did it with good humor to plum, and she was amazing. And hey there, Mrs. T. A lot of people saying hi to Mrs. Thrash, and people saying hello to Emily. And Gary says, John, she was with Elvis. Who wasn't? And Chan says, Carolyn Jones was Deandra, Princess Mother on Paradise Island in season 1 of the Wonder Woman. Oh, that is a great find. Excellent. And Deborah Winger played her kid sister in 76, 77 on ABC after the Cloris Leachman played the part in the 75 pilot. Good reach, Chance. Good reach. That was the cool one that's still set in World War II. I didn't like the one set in modern day. I thought that just sort of like, meh. But what do I know? Who am I to argue with? Genius. Oh, Emily remembers that, Chance. Oh, Emily remembers something about Wonder Woman? I find that staggering. And Indy says, I'll give you a hint, Bob. Actually, John Doe gave it to you. Something about there's a Batman connection there. All I keep doing, I keep going back to the Milla Jovovich, who we were just talking about earlier. I keep going back to the messenger from Milla Jovovich. So I'm probably just being obtuse. I apologize. But anyway, if feel free to baby step it if you'd like to. And Shan says, in all 3 episodes with Deborah Winger as Drusilla / Wonder Girl. She was in 3? Huh, I didn't realize I remember I didn't know she was in actually 3 full episodes. And Gary says, Podblast, I already knew that, but she was married to the guy who created Charlie's Angels. Spelling? Because I love that story. Stan Lee actually tells the story about because they knew each other in World War II because they were in that special entertainment department. And Aaron Spelling had a obsession with the Andrews sisters. So he envisioned that wasn't very nice. And he envisioned an Andrews sisters where they were entertainers during the day and OSS agents by night. And after the war, that eventually translated to woman cops. And I'm going to go there in spelling. And I lost my place because I was so busy pontificating. A lot of people saying hi to Mrs. Thrash. Emily says, I preferred the 40s episodes too. They were good. They were a period piece. And Chances, is your hubby any better, Tracy? Oh, that's a good question. I believe he's doing better, but I'll let Tracy answer. I love the World War II setting with Wonder Woman. The first season was better, in my opinion. A lot of people are picking World War II. And there were a lot of World War II shows at the time. There was Operation Petticoat. There was some more. And he says Vincent Price turned her into a statue of Joan of Arc in House of Wax. Oh, I apologize. I don't think I've seen House of Wax in 20 years. And yes, I'm sorry. John Doe did mention House of Wax, but I forgot the Joan of Arc statue bit. Thank you, indeed. And I've got to rewatch House of Wax, the original. And Tracy says he's doing good. Thank you. And Aaron Spelling. Yeah, that's what I thought so. But I was like, I had a wire crossed, but it took me a second. So I'm glad you could confirm it. Thank you. And John Doe says, I have a Wonder Woman TV short from the 60s. Oh, that's awesome. And Shan says, a 2-parter, the Phenomenon Mystique and Wonder Woman in Hollywood season 1 finale. That's 3 episodes. Oh, yes. I remember the 2-parter, but I didn't remember the third one. Yeah, because now you mentioned there was a 2-parter. And yeah, Aaron Spelling. Yeah. And Tori's dad. And Gary Carpenter says, beating straight was in the modern world of Wonder Woman. I don't remember that one. And Beatrice straight in the modern world. And Gary says she never had any kids. And Dave says, yes, always, always about the real origins remake movies. So the House of Wax or nothing at all. Well said. And Tracy says, thank you to Chance. And I'm actually caught up. Yay. Oh, while I have a second, now that the majority of you are here, we got two choices for trivia tonight, by the way. We have I did one on Julian McMahon and Michael Madsen. I had to do 5 and 5. It was really tough finding good questions about the two of them, believe it or not. I managed to get to 10, but it's kind of tough. There were even some things that I didn't know. So we also have the Dukes of Hazard. I'm gonna let you guys pick which one we're going to do, and then we will do that. But we're gonna do that one a little bit later. And no remakes. Good one, Dave. And John Doe says, not only did they change the network for Wonder Woman, but they got the writers from Hawaii Five-O to update the show. That's why they got into aliens and stuff like that. Huh. Huh. Didn't Roddy McDowell do an episode where he plays like a Bond villain who creates a weapon to destroy the Earth if they don't give up war? And he says, I believe Chance meant femininum mystique. Feminum indianum is the metal her bracelets are made of from, by the way. I thought it was unobtainium and or antimatter. I'm just free-forming at this point. And Gear Campus' House of Wax was great. Yes, it was. Rachel says Dukes. It seems that we're going to be doing Dukes. Most people want to do Dukes, but I'm going to leave it up to you guys. And Tug says Robert Hayes, the star from Airplane 2, was Drusilla's love interest in the season 1 finale Wonder Woman in Hollywood episode. Oh yeah, he's the one. He tries to surrender to the Germans, but the squad he tries to surrender to is already trying to surrender, so they surrender to him. So he becomes a war hero because he captured all these Germans. It was sort of a Sergeant York situation. I remember the colonel, the one I was talking about, the one that reminds me of Negan from The Walking Dead. I was asking about the story about Sergeant York. I'm like, oh my god, the man, he captured 80 Germans in one day. Oh my god, 80 national hero, 80 Germans. How do you capture 80 Germans? And he goes, World War II had about 4 days left in it. They were half-starved teenage boys with no ammunition who probably surrendered just so they could get a shower and a bowl of mashed potatoes. So, it wasn't, they weren't like SS fanatics. So it's still impressive to capture 80 of anything is a lot. But when you know the actual story, it's not quite as heroic as the American military propaganda machine would have you believe. Although I myself love the military industrial complex and would never say anything bad about it. Anyway, where was I? I've said too much. Anyway, Gary says Roddy was an evil scientist in the volcano. Yes, he's going to turn the world into one big volcano. Gary also says, Emily's voting for Julian, but Gary's voting for Dukes of Hazard. Dave says, I can't get out of this. Just stick to my guns on original movies. That's why I like original movies. I like original movies too. And John Doe says, a little from column A and a little from column B with a side of egg roll. With 6, you get egg rolls. And Indy says, I believe Roddy was in a couple of WW episodes. He might have been. He was in everything. The reason he was in The Longest Day, because he has this like little throwaway scene where like he and this other guy are camping out before they leave for Normandy. And it was because they had suspended production of Cleopatra, where he played Octavian. And so what happened was everyone who was working on Cleopatra, to keep them working because they were getting paid, they got small parts in Longest Day. Indy says, I believe Roddy was in. Oh, I already read that one. I'm sorry. Gary says he was in 1. Chances that is correct. Emily says Julian was the son of a prime minister. Well, that just gave away a question. Nobody on Dukes of Hazzard can say that. Ixnay on the fun facts, Faye, because that was actually one of Julian's questions. I'll still ask it. And Tug says he never got over Macho Grande. What are you leaving? I can't tell you. That's classified. Oh, Individual Minds is here. Indy, please, one of my bots or bot defenders or mods, one of my mod squad, please give Individual Minds a link. Indy, so good to see you. He goes, hey, y'all. It's a day of ideas. Haha. Yes, it is a day of ideas. And it's so good to see you. Welcome back. Hope everything is going well your way. And he says to Gary Carpenter, actually, he was in another episode called The Fine Art of Crime. Don't worry. One of these years, you'll correct me and actually be right. Oh, drop the mic. And Emily says, anybody else got just not in the least bit interested in the new Fantastic Four movie? Emily, I gotta tell you, they lost me with the new Ben Grimm. I'm sorry, the Thing. You can do different incarnations of the Thing, but one thing he always has that gruff, gravelly, mean voice like this. And in this, he sort of has this really cool sing-songy voice, and I'm like, ah, it's like, yeah, it's clobbering time. I'm like, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. And it's a pity too, because I was actually going to give it a chance. I've always loved the Fantastic Four, and I like the fact that they got the robot from the cartoon. I thought the robot from the cartoon was cool, even though he was only added because it was the '70s and everything sci-fi had a cute little robot. Andrew says, they've got the people watching you saying those things, Thrash. I know. And John Doe says, what was the movie from the 1980s that was made by Mad Magazine starring Ralph Macchio? Up the Academy, which is actually a surprisingly funny and surprisingly raunchy movie. It was sort of a Meatballs 2 meets Caddyshack. It's a lot of bathroom humor, a lot of think of Porky's if it kind of pushed the envelope. Had a great cast. Robert Townsend's in it too, by the way, and couple other. I'm trying to remember who plays the commandant of the camp. But yeah, I actually own a copy on videotape. But yeah, it was called Up the Academy, and it's certainly worth watching. Try to find an unedited version because a lot of the humor is very politically incorrect. So they usually try to edit it out, particularly all I can say is particularly nowadays with some current sentiments. Some things don't fly. So if you can find it, try to find it unedited. But yeah, it's actually worth a watch. Gary says, Indy, I forgot about that. No harm, no foul. Gary Carpenter says Ron Eli from Tarzan made an episode of World War II. Fun fact. Tug says, yeah, I am not excited about F4 either. Individual Mind says, have y'all had the Fantastic Four pizza? I have not, but I just tried, even though I'm supposed to be on a diet, I tried Domino's stuffed crust. I succumbed to peer pressure. It was good. It was Yumsville. And Gary says, I'm not a Marvel fan anyway. And Indy says to Emily, I'm interested, but they may be taking me out of it as we go along here. Thank you, Tracy, for the link. Emily says, and Pedro is a big no from me. And John Doe says, the only Fantastic Four movie that's good is the Roger Corman. That one was actually pretty decent. I wish I'd actually gone and released it. And then he says, my son actually asked me who my Marvel character was, and I'm like, I don't know many of them except Thor. Thor was cool. I can see he was Thor, with the hair and everything. Yeah, I'll buy that. I'll buy that. Christopher's here says, good evening, Bob. Good evening to you, Christopher, my buddy. Indy says, you thinking of Ron Lieberman, Bob? Thank you. It was Ron Lieberman. Thank you. I thought it was, but then I'm like, no, he was in that other movie. It was that guy like Ron Lieberman. But yeah, Ron Lieberman, who was in, of course, a movie we were talking about not too long ago. Slaughterhouse Five. I'm sorry, my mind shut down for a second. All I can think of was Slaughterhouse Four. We keep talking about fours. Yes, Ron Lieberman, and thank you. Rest in peace. We lost him recently. Towards the end, he was doing the voice of Archer's wannabe stepfather in the Archer cartoon show. And Tracy says, no problem, mind. And let people saying hello to Chris. Christopher says, good evening, Tracy and Gary. John says, Robbie the robot was made to replace Johnny Strom because censors was afraid that kids would try to let themselves up. No kidding. I did not know that. That's really a fun fact. Thank you. And he says, not Lieberman, Lieberman. Say it with me, Bob. Liebman. I've been calling him Lieberman my entire life. Liebman. I'm sorry, Liebman. Thank you. And thank you. Yes, Lieb. I'm probably gonna still say Lieberman. It's one of those like mental blocks. But thank you, Liebman. Thank you. Ron Liebman. And Individual One says it's sausage, bacon, pepperoni, jalapeno peppers, and cheese, 2 slices of them each on one pie. I could do all of that except the jalapenos. Jalapenos havoc, wreak havoc with my digestional tract, and that's all I'm going to say on that matter. And Emily says they've done F4 to death, though. And Tug says Slaughterhouse 5. I beat you to it. Nah. And he says Liebman was a fun antagonist in Zorro, the Gay Blade. There's a movie I haven't thought of in 40 years. And he says, hey, K Dub. Individual Mind says they make on like one that two. So are you saying it's like a calzone? They put a pizza upside down on top of another pizza? I can get into that. That's basically what a calzone is. I love calzone. There was a little Greek, and by the way, I don't know about the rest of the country. The best pizza shops on Cape Cod are all owned by Greeks, and I will die on that hill. Or should I say, I will die on that Mount Olympus. But there was a little Greek bakery, I guess you'd call it. It was like a seafood bakery type situation. And they made the best calzone. And Christopher says, did you take Mrs. Thrash to the Lizzie Borden yet? No. Yo no soy my dinero. And Emily says they never thought to replace Mary Poppins, even though some of us tried jumping from high places with an umbrella. Valid point. Oh, by the way, Mrs. Thrash uses my Facebook account all the time, and she says she loves your posts. She agrees with every single one of them. She thinks you're the queen. Yes, queen. I just wanted to pass that on. And then he says 1 bit, 2 bit, 3 bit, peso. All for Zorro, stand up and say so. I should have probably said that with an accent. And John Doe says they're making Spaceballs too. The Schwartz Awakens. I've seen like a scuttlebutt about it. And Gary says sometimes I wish I had a nanny like her. I wish I had a nanny like Tracy Scoggins or Tracy Copley or Terry Copley. Or you know what? I wish I had an entourage of really hot nannies. I could do the Queen song. And Tracy says, I do not like spicy foods too. And he says, the section of the pie and then add toppings. It's like a normal pie look, but I don't get into Zorro. I don't know if it's how it's spelt. Probably. I'm not 100%. And he says, it's cheaper to get into Borden House than you think, Bob. They really slashed the prices? No kidding. Wait, I asked you this before. You're not from the Northeast, are you? Well, because years ago it was very, very expensive. Emily says she's more than welcome to send me a friend request. Oh, that's so nice of you. She doesn't have her own Facebook. She uses mine, but I'll let her know that, and she might send you some nice messages every now and then, or forward some of your stuff, which is fine because I forward your stuff on the occasion as well. And I will pass that on to you, Emily. And Gary says, I don't like anything spicy, but I like buffalo chicken. I can do the occasional buffalo chicken. 99 used to have a wonderful buffalo chicken sandwich. What do you mean here says hello, everyone. What do you mean? Sorry, he's late. Oh, what do you mean? You are right on time because we are just about to start the trivia. And Tracy says mucho grande dinero. And I know, some of dinero is actually from La Bamba. And Emily says, Indy, did you just? And it was a joke, Thresh. Slash the prices. Okay. Because a lot of places are actually, but yes, I see a slash the prices. Thank you, Emily and Indy. I'm very sorry that I didn't catch that. When you read things, I read them so phonetically that I take them serious. And John Doe says they were re-releasing Jaws for 1 week, only in theaters, and Martha's Vineyard is going to have a celebration for it. I believe they already did. And he says after consulting teams of the internet experts, it's been determined that my Borden House reference may have, in fact, been a joke. Yeah, Tracy explained it to me, and I do apologize for not getting it. Slashing prices. It's like when years ago, my buddy and I we used to follow video games, and one of the ones that we used to play was Crazy Climber, and he had actually gotten this book. It was called Vidator or something, and it showed what the games were getting better and which ones were dropping in popularity. And he goes, Space Invaders is going up and Crazy Climber is falling. And I went, oh no. It was very funny 45 years ago. Crazy. Anyway, okay, one last chance for all people who want the Julian Madison. So far, Dukes of Hazzard is winning. But if you guys want to have me do the Michael Madsen and Julian McMahon, I will give you guys one last chance to smash the comment section. And Indy says, Wedge, why didn't the skeleton cross the road? No guts. Okay, here's one for you. Why did the Invisible Man cross the road? I'm not altogether certain he did. Oh, mercy. Mercy. Okay, Emily is voting for Julian McMahon. So, those of you who want to make Emily happy or have the Julian McMahon, Michael Madsen, vote for this. And everyone else vote for Dukes of Hazzard. John Doe says little of both white shoes. Indy says he did have the guts too. And Indy, good point. And Indy says Madsen McMahon as a lesser of two evils. And Gary Carter says you couldn't see. That's why I said I'm not altogether certain he did cross the road because I couldn't tell if he did or not. You know what? Emily feels so strongly. I'm gonna side with Indy on this one. To the other people who said Dukes, we'll do Dukes next week. I promise. But for this week, we're going to do the top 10. And this is Michael Madsen and Julian McMahon. Call this everyone try to be nice. Everyone do something nice for Emily. She does enough nice stuff for us. And it's going to be in order, by the way, because there's going to be 5 Michael Madsen and 5 Julian McMahon. And somebody was saying either one anyway. So, oh, sweet. So we can blame Emily. Yes, I apologize in advance because they're actually kind of tricky. But I will start in a particular order as an exception. Okay, number 10. As a child, Mr. McMahon wanted to be what? He wanted to be A, a rugby player, B, a soccer player, B, a U.S. football, and I do mean football player, or D, a hockey player. I shall repeat. As a child, Mr. McMahon wanted to be what? A rugby player, B, a soccer player, C, a U.S. football player, or D, a hockey player. Oh, Broco's here. Welcome. Sorry. Actually, no, you're right in time. You got here just in time to take place. This is going to be Julian McMahon and Michael Madsen trivia. And you know what? I almost should have mixed them up, gone back and forth. But this way is less confusing. And I'll give you guys a couple more seconds to answer. And the correct answer is, A, a soldier of fortune. At least says, Eric, I'll take the win any way I can get it. And let's see any other answers. And then he says he's Australian. I'm guessing rugby. And you would guess correct. Yes, he wanted to be a professional rugby player. Number 9. And you might as well just count this as one as your freebie. Thank you, Emily. Mr. McMahon's father was known in Australia for what? A former prime minister. B, director of Australia's first national TV channel. C, a famous war hero. Or D, forming Australia's space program. I shall repeat. Mr. McMahon's father was known in Australia for what? A, being a former prime minister. B, being director of Australia's first national television channel. C, a famous war hero. Or D, director of Australia's space program. Master Chef. Tug says, hey, I just learned this one. Smartass. And he says, I never thought I'd say this, but I'm going with Emily. Yes, he was a former Australian prime minister. Was he the first? I don't think he was the first. But anyway, yes, he was an Australian prime minister. Number 8. Mr. McMahon lived in this picturesque West Florida slice of heaven. Was it A, Sarasota, B, Bradenton, C, Clearwater, or D, Englewood? I shall repeat. Mr. McMahon lived in this picturesque West Florida slice of heaven. Was it A, Sarasota, B, Bradenton, C, Clearwater, or D, Englewood? Everyone's just watching what I'm sorry. Everyone's just watching what Emily's saying. Boulder, Florida. Oh yes, Florida's known for its mile-high city. Oh my God, Snark Sass is here. Oh my God, Snarky Sassy, welcome. We just started the trivia. Feel free to kick in and play. You missed the first couple, but you can play catch up. Just look at Emily's answers. A member of the Julian McMahon Admiration Society. And the correct answer is actually C, Clearwater. Bradenton is actually where John Collins is from. Also, my mom's best friend, Linda's also from there. Englewood is where my grandparents lived, and we almost bought their house. And Mrs. Thrash is saying hi, by the way. And again, but yeah, no, Clearwater, Florida is where Mr. McMahon had lived. Number 7. This is a fun one. Mr. McMahon was at one time married to this actress. I left out. This is an important part. Mr. McMahon was at one time married to this Baywatch actress. This actress was on Baywatch. Was it A, Pamela Anderson? B, why are you laughing at that? For some reason, you thought Pamela Anderson was funny. Oh, because Pamela Anderson made such great choices. Let me start one more time. No more false starts. Mr. McMahon was at one time married to this Baywatch actress. Was it Pamela Anderson? I heard that. B, Brooke Burns. C, Carmen Electra. She really thought that one was funny. I suppose you're going to laugh at Yasmin Bleeth, too. All right, so whichever one she didn't laugh at, okay, I'll repeat this time. I'll try to do so without shenanigans. Mr. McMahon was at one time married to this Baywatch actress. A, Pamela Anderson, B, Brooke Burns, C, Carmen Electra, or D, Yasmin Bleeth. This is more fun than I thought it was going to be. Giggle Puss in the next room. Everyone's saying hello to Mrs. Thresh. And Emily says, and their daughter looks just like her. And Gary says, and Geek Snarky spelled this way is better. And Ursula Andress. No, she was married to the guy from Clash of the Titans. My wife had a crush on Harry Hamlin, and they weren't married. Yes, they were. Common law. And she was like 20 years older than he was. And she was still hot. And anyway, we're having a digression. And anyway, the correct answer is B, Brooke Burns. He was married at one point to Brooke Burns as opposed to Mr. Burns. Oh, yes, Ursula Andress was married to John Derek. I was just watching highlights from Moses, the Ten Commandments. And of course, John Derek was in that. He was also married, of course, to Bo Derek. And there's a third one. Bo Derek, Ursula Andress, and Dynasty. Not Joan Collins, the other one. Hun? Linda Evans, thank you. And it's Mrs. Thrash for the win. She's like, what? I'm like, oh, now you ignore me. Great. Why have you forgotten me? Oh, yeah, and Indy says Linda Evans. And Emily says the blonde. Yes, the blonde. The blonde. Joan Collins was hotter. I'm sorry. I was at a thing for Joan Collins. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway. Oh, did we get the yes, Brooke Burns? Yes, yeah. Number 6. I know that was we're almost there, guys. Okay. Mr. McMahon was the brother-in-law, formally, of this Australian singer-entertainer. Was it A, Nicole Kidman, B, Kylie Minogue, C, Naomi Watts, or D, Olivia Newton-John? I shall repeat. Gary says Linda Evans was a companion to Yanni, the piano player. I knew that. Yeah, she was. They were. It is. So is written, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, now I got Yul Brynner stuck in the head. And Cedric Hardwick played the Pharaoh. I had completely forgotten that. Sir Cedric Hardwick. And Rachel DeWitt says, my computer died, but I am finally back. We wondered. I thought it was something I said. So glad to have you back, Rachel in 208. So good to see you. Anyway, let me repeat this one. Mr. McMahon was the brother-in-law formally of this Australian singer-entertainer. Was it A, Nicole Kidman, B, Kylie Minogue, C, Naomi Watts, or D, Olivia Newton-John? And Tracy says, I know absolutely nothing about these people you're asking questions about, sitting here dying. It's too funny. Well, like I say, it was actually trickier. The Michael Madsen isn't much better either, but it was tough to get into 10 questions. These guys didn't have a lot of trivial stuff about them. And he says, how in the holy hell did I get through this first half unscathed? Take me to the promised land. Emily. Let's see. Yeah, why isn't Emily? Oh, is that your answer, Emily? I'm going to guess it's the. Anyway, I'm Jerry Lewis. Good one, John. Kylie Minogue. He was married to her sister, Danny Minogue, who was also an entertainer. But anyway, that is the correct answer. So let's get some scores now that we're done with all this. I moved my computer. That's better. Now that we're done with the exploitation, let's get some scores here. Oh my God, Lance Jefferson's here. Hey, Lance, how's it going? He says, hey, gang. Tug is 3 of 5. No small task tonight. Emily is 5 of 5. High five. A lot of people saying hi to Lance. John Doe is 1918. That was a good year. Not for the Germans. Brogue was 4 of 5. Tracy is 0 out of 5. You'll rally in the second half. I'm sorry, Bubba. What you mean is 5 out of 5. It pays to copy. Rachel is 1. We're number 1. And yeah, Emily's like, yeah, it's fun being the know-it-all, isn't it, Emily? Like I said, apparently she's the founding member of the Julian McMahon Admiration Society. Gary is 4 out of 5. And a lot of people having fellowship. I think that's all the scores. And John Doe says, it's only cheating if you get caught. It is only cheating if you get caught. And Rachel is qualifying 1 of 1. Yes, I kind of knew what you meant, but you are number 1 in my book. Anyway, now let's move on. Now the second half is going to be Michael Madsen. So Emily, let's see how much you know about Michael Madsen. Because I don't know much about I Know Me Some Julian. Well, we'll see. Now it's your chance to copy off. Indy. Oh, did I not number these? Oh, no, I was reading the wrong side. Anyway, number 5. Mr. Madsen played this shady character in the film Reservoir Dogs. A. Mr. Blonde, B. Mr. Brunette, C. Mr. Blue, or D. Mr. Chartreuse. I shall repeat. Mr. McMahon played this shady. See what I did there? Shades. You see what I did there? This shady character in the film Reservoir Dogs. Is it A. Mr. Blonde, B. Mr. Brunette, C. Mr. Blue, or D. Mr. Chartreuse? And John Doe, I will accept that. Our judges will accept your answer. And Emily says Julian's final appearance was on The Residence as an Australian Prime Minister. That's cool, actually. I did not know that. Indy, good one. Thank you. Thank you. Really? A lot of people saying C. What do you mean? The response is Michael Madsen. Yes, Michael Madsen did play Michael Madsen. Trace says Dillinger. That is Dillinger. And John Doe says that's what he called it, so I'll go with it. No, like I said, judges will accept that. Emily's like, I'm going to say Mr. Blonde. Good extrapolation. Yes, he played Mr. Blonde. There was a Mr. Blue, but it's some guy who's like, he's like the only one not wildly known. And I'm sure he was a very popular actor in his day, but he's only in that one opening scene. And Gary says Rick Hurst was Deputy Cletus Hogg. Oh, we're not doing the Dukes of Hazzard tonight, though. Thank you for playing. We have some lovely parting gifts. But anyway, the correct answer is A, Mr. Blonde. Next. Mr. Madsen made his last Tarantino appearance in this film. Was it A, Inglourious Bastards, B, The Hateful Eight, C, Otis, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, or D, Django Unchained? I shall repeat. Mr. Madsen made his last Tarantino appearance in this film. Was it A, Inglourious Bastards, B, The Hateful Eight, C, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, or D, Django Unchained? And he says Ed Bunker was Mr. Blue. Splendid. Do you know anything else he could really be known for? I don't recall seeing him in anything else. I'm sure he was around. He was a bit older than the rest of them, so something tells me he was probably big in like the 70s. But help a brother out here. But Ed Bunker, thank you, very good. And John Doe says he wasn't Mr. Pink. No. Echo. The guy who was the hero of 9/11, the guy who was in New York at the time, but was a fireman, so he actually helped out with the emergency crews. I can see him plain as day. He was in the first Fargo movie. He was Mr. Pink. Him. Yeah, no, he wasn't Mr. Pink. Some people guessing the Hateful Eight. Emily says, Steve Buscemi. Thank you, Doug. Steve Buscemi. I knew that. I was drawing a blank. And he says he was in a ton of stuff. I've never seen a ton of stuff. Thank you. I'm sure he was. No, not Gary Sinise. Thank you for playing with some lovely parting gifts. And yet, and he says Steve Buscemi was Mr. Pink. Thank you. And John says that the old man was in Reservoir Dogs. Was the original? You're kidding. No kidding. I did not know that. That's an amazing fun fact. Thank you. I'm assuming you mean on the TV show. That is amazing fun fact. Thank you, John Doe. I love that. I'm going to actually I should do a Superman trivia and do all the other incarnations. One thing I do like from the trailers, though, I think they did a bang up job on Lex Luthor. I thought Lex Luthor was perfect. And look who's here. Keith Easius says, hello, everyone. I probably miss your name, so hello to you anyhow. Everybody say hello to Keith. So Keith, consider yourself saying hello to everyone. Hello from me, and so good to see you. And everybody wish Keithy a happy birthday. belated. And Emily says, I have no clue who this Madsen guy even is. Well, then just copy of somebody else. Yeah, turnabout's fair play. Oh, he was a major character actor in the 40s and 50s. Yes, I just can't place him in anything. And I'm sure, and that's the sad thing. I'm sure I've seen a bunch of stuff he was in. I just can't place it. Oh, yeah. Geezy says, oh, okay, you're all killing me right now. Killing me softly with his song. Killing me. And Emily says, Gary, so far, it doesn't sound like he was in anything I would want to watch. Keep watching. And oh, did you see Kill Bill? Yeah. Emily, you would have Kill Bill's movie. It seemed, I think you'd be all over. But anyway, the correct answer is wait, I haven't read the next one. Oh, Once Upon a Time in the Old West. No, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That was his last Tarantino film appearance. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Number 3. Mr. Madsen was in the first. Oh, Mr. Madsen was in the first episode of this famous TV medical series. Was it A, St. Elsewhere, B, Doctor Doctor, C, ER, or D, ER? And I rush to say this before you smash the comment section. There are actually 2 TV shows called ER. So that qualifies as 2 different. And he may or may not have been in one or the other of them. Anyway, having muddled the mix, I shall repeat. Mr. Madsen was in the first episode of this famous TV medical series. Was it A, St. Elsewhere, B, Doctor Doctor, C, ER, or D, ER? And he says, I'm guessing St. Elsewhere. The timing is good. Yes, you guys seem to right out the gate. And it's funny. You probably picked it because I'm only talking about how St. Elsewhere is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. So, it's very, I'm good like Sean Wallace thing here. So your genius will work it. Yes, the way my mind works is I would want a fact about my favorite show to be worked into my trivia game. So yes, he was in the first episode. I think he was actually in the whole first season, but he was definitely in the first episode. So yes. So everybody give yourself a pat on the back for that one. And I guess I'll go with that too. Speaking of 2, number 2, Mr. Madsen famously turned down the role in Pulp Fiction for this film. Was it A, Free Willy, B, Wyatt Earp, C, Species 2, or D, Donnie Brasco? And in case you're wondering what part, he was supposed to play the Travolta part. I'll repeat. Mr. Madsen famously turned down the role in Pulp Fiction for this film. Was it A, Free Willy, B, Wyatt Earp, C, Species 2, or D, Donnie Brasco? And you guys are really on your game today. Oh, and Keithy says, thanks for the hellos and birthday greetings. You are overwhelming me. Oh, well, you deserve it. You deserve it, my brother. You've been a huge friend of channel and an asset to us all. And anyway, you are appreciated. Emily says, no one can replace Travolta. No, Travolta replaced him. It was actually Donnie Brasco. He was the co-star in Donnie Brasco. And while Donnie Brasco is a great film, considering Travolta always felt as though Pulp Fiction sort of reinvented his entire film career, Madsen couldn't help but wonder if it may have had the same effect for him. But yeah, he was supposed to play that part. frankly, I think Travolta knocked it out of the park. Madsen's a great actor. I don't know if he would have given it the same panache. But who knows or dares to dream. But yes, he turned down the role as Vincent Vega. Or actually, Vincent Vega was his brother. He was supposed to be Vic Vega was the character's name. Mr. Blonde was Vic Vega. I forget. At one point, Tarantino actually considered doing a movie with the 2 of them as the 2 brothers doing a little crime thing. It would have had to have been a prequel because in the Tarantino universe they were both dead. But it could have been before Travolta went away to Europe. Number 1. K Billy is playing this super sound of the 70s during the infamous Reservoir Dogs torture sequence? Was it A, love goes where my rosemary, love, I'll come in again. Love grows where my rosemary goes, and nobody knows like ye. Um, B, Billy Don't Be a Hero. C, Heaven's on the Seventh Floor. Or D, Stuck in the Middle with You. I shall repeat. K. Billy is playing this super sound of the 70s during the infamous Reservoir Dogs torture sequence. Is it A, Love Grows Where My Rosemary Goes? B, Billy, Don't Be a Hero? C, Heaven's on the Seventh Floor? Or D, Stuck in the Middle with You? You know, even people who haven't seen the movie can probably guess that one correct. Emily says, I too have said Donnie, so I'm saying it. Yes, it was Donnie Brasco. And John Doe says Sean Connery turned down playing Morpheus in the Matrix because he didn't understand the script. I can see that. And anyway, yes, the correct answer is Steelers Wheel Stuck in the Middle of You. And it's funny, my old roommate, that scene always bothered him because when the song ends, the music stops. It's a radio. It should have either gone to another song, to a commercial. K. Billy should have come back on and said something interesting about Steelers Wheel. Oh, no, just the whole music stops. Why? And it's not poor directing. I think Tarantino just wanted to do it that way. Maybe the batteries died. Who knows or dares to dream? Gary says Gene Stapleton was in it. Let me hear you whisper. And Indy says Steelers Wheel actually, but who's counting? And Tug says it was supposed to be a satire of Dylan, and too many people think it really is Dylan. Oh. And anyway, how about we get some scores? Because yes, the correct answer is D, Steelers Wheel. Score. Brogu was 8 out of 10. Really impressive tonight. Oh, come on, it's gonna be more than one score. Oh, John Doe was 9 of 3. Excellent. Oh, Emily is 10 for 10. A little one hand washes the other, huh? Gary Carpenter is 8 of 10. Tug, 8 of 10. Killed the second half. Excellent. What you mean is 10 out of 10. Bam. You go, my brother. And Indy, don't be shy. Or you're recusing yourself because you borrowed some answers for this one. People borrow plenty of yours. No need to set the bar. Once I have crossed the bar, shot him a bar when he was only 3. Oh, that reminds me. We were talking about something the other day, and I had the E. Cummings poem stuck in my head. The sword of Charlemagne so just, now ferrous oxide known as rust. Caesar's bust is on the shelf, and I'm not feeling well myself. My roommate, actually, that was his favorite poem, at least by E. Cummings. Keithy is 10 out of 11, and I didn't even try. LOL, fat chance. Emily says, y'all welcome. Waterman says, I knew the Madsen part. Excellent. John Doe says, now take the trivia and turn it around. Oh. And everybody's saying thanks to M. And everybody's saying thanks to M. And yeah. Okay, guys, I think I'm actually gonna call it an early night tonight. Get a big day tomorrow. Oh, Indy's here. I'm almost certain Madsen filmed The Wyatt Earp in '94 instead of Pulp Fiction the same year. Donnie Brasco wasn't filmed until '96, 2 years after Pulp Fiction came out. Huh? I got that from an interview, didn't I? Huh? Well, if anybody got it wrong, give yourself an extra point. Thank you, Indy. I apologize if I in fact was wrong. And Christopher says, good night, Emily. Have a good evening. Stay awesome. And Tug is saying good night. Yeah, I have a small favor to ask of all of you. My brother-in-law, is having a procedure tomorrow, and we're all gonna send him positive vibes. Okay, so anyway, if you guys could like maybe like send us some positive vibes and pull for him, I'd really appreciate it. Discretion forbids me going into any details, but we could all use some positive vibes, you know. And anyway, I want to thank you guys very, very, very much for like coming tonight. By the way, this was an absolute blast. I'm gonna hang on to that Dukes of Hazzard trivia. I'm gonna hang on to it. We will do it someday because I actually am kind of glad the way that one came out. And I believe was it Tab? Somebody asked me to do an entire episode of Space 1999 of the works of Jerry Anderson. So everybody think about your favorite Jerry Anderson shows, episodes, that type of thing, because that might happen in the not too distant future. And thank you, Watchamin and everyone, Tug, for sending the positive vibes. Really appreciate it. And Eastbound says, in that case, 10 for 10 things. Oh, I get it. You were just double checking to see if the Wired Earp won. I would have given it to you anyway. Either way, indeed. Brogu, thank you for sending the good vibes. Anyway, again, thank you guys really for everything. I really look forward to these shows. I put a certain amount of work into them. You guys, I think, put in more than I do, but I love doing it. It gets me through the week. I really look forward to it. We are going to do another show next week. I can't remember. Sarah and Danny were talking about doing another show, but I don't think it's going to be next Sunday. I think it's going to be the following Sunday, where we'll do one of our infamous group efforts. But either way, there will be a show next Sunday. I promise you. It won't be the Jerry Anderson one next week. Probably not, because I probably am going to do the Dukes of Hazzard trivia. But anyway, I just want to thank you guys again. You guys are awesome, and stay awesome. And anyway, until next week, be good, be safe, be careful. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all again very, 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 very soon. Peace.